everybody, it's me, Jill, and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of New York City, Season 11, Episode 8, Birds, Broads, and Breakups. Before I get started with the recap, I have something I want to say to you guys. I don't know how long it's going to be. You know, I go off on tangents. So since I haven't edited this yet, and I don't know how long my little rant is going to be, I am going to do a voiceover to let you know the minute marker to fast forward to. So if you're short on time and you just want to get to the recap, you can fast forward to 7 minutes, 14 seconds. Okay, now that they're gone, let's talk. So those of you who know me pretty well and have been following me for a couple years now know that I don't have any written rules for my channel. And mostly it's because I haven't needed to. When I first started this, one of my nieces, Alexa, hi Alexa. Alexa watches all the Housewives too, and Vanderpump, and she's one of my subscribers. And her husband, Mike, Mike is not a subscriber, but he might be hearing me right now, because sometimes when Alexa is listening to this, Mike is like in the background in another room and he can hear my voice. So, hi Mike. It's me, Jill Informed. Anyway, Mike's a computer guy and he's very familiar with the world of the internet. So when I first started, they kind of warned me about opening myself up for, ridicule and criticism, and that people out there can be pretty mean. And not just mean, but like Mike was saying, it gets really ugly. There could be people threatening your life and worse. So I was like, yes, I'm aware of that and I'm prepared. And, I don't have to do this. And if it got really ugly and bad, I would just stop. But you guys have been, for the most part, 99.9% of you have been great. I say this all the time, and the reason I ask for your comments at the end of every video is because I do love reading them. You guys are smart and funny, and I truly enjoy it. For me, that's the part of this whole thing that feels like I'm connecting with you guys. I love to watch the shows. I love to do the recaps and record it for you guys. But that's all me by myself. When you comment, that's when I feel like we're connecting the most. And so that's like the payback for me. So as I said, I don't have a whole list of rules. I don't have any written rules for you guys. And the only thing I have ever said is that you'd be kind to one another. You can say whatever you want about the ladies, and you can say whatever you want to me, but don't take your anger out on each other. And unless I missed something, I have never witnessed you guys doing that to one another. I've never had to step in and do anything about that. But what I do want to say now, if I haven't said this in the past, is that I also don't want you guys to get political. For those of us in the US, we are probably experiencing the most divisive time that I can remember in my lifetime. We have people really going at each other. It can get very ugly very quickly. The other observation I would make about that is just to say that I have never witnessed anybody on either side changing the minds of their opponent with angry accusations. As soon as you get loud and ugly and angry, that is when your opponent shuts off and says, okay, I'm not going to listen to another thing you have to say. I would do that if someone was shouting their opinions at me. So it's just an exercise in futility. It does not work. But aside from all that, this little channel of mine that recaps and talks about and dishes about the Real Housewives has always been and always will be a place to get away from all of that. Listen, there are 1,000 places you can go on the internet and give your political opinion, get in a sparring match with someone, get angry, or commiserate with somebody about your politics, right? There's 1,000 places you can go. You don't have to come to the Housewives review. You just don't. So that's what I need to say. If your comments appear to be political in any way, I'm going to ask you to first think about whether you really want to send that or not. And secondly, if you do, I'm going to remove it. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to stifle your free speech, but this isn't the place for it. I would also like to say that I'm not going to delete your comments if they're about the Housewives. I'm not going to censor you. But I would like you to think about whether you're getting too angry about a reality TV show. I can understand how these women can kind of get to you sometimes, and they can be infuriating and frustrating, and I understand that. I feel that way too sometimes. But posting a really ugly, angry comment about it isn't really making the rest of us feel good. And it probably isn't helping you either, is it? You know? Sometimes I wonder if maybe taking a break from watching the show might be what you need to do. Because honestly, it's all so trivial and it is just meant to be entertaining. And if that entertainment ends up making your blood boil, then maybe taking a step back from it is the right thing to do for your own sake, for your own health. And again, I understand. I'm not criticizing you for getting super emotional about it, because it happens to me too. But then I just kind of got to take a deep breath and think to myself, oh my gosh, this is just a TV show. And that's the reason we're all here, is because we love the show, right? We wouldn't watch it otherwise. So my advice to all of us is to just try to remember they're silly and ridiculous. That's probably why they're on the show. And we need to just kind of find the humor in it if you can, you know? Rant is over, guys. I'm going to be recapping as I watch, and I cannot wait. So without any further ado, let's get started. Well, the show opens with Bethany and Sonia, and they're in the car heading somewhere. I don't know where yet, but they're filled with words of wisdom, I think for Tinsley. Sonia said, users get used. That's what my mother always said. And Bethany said, yeah, well, you know what I always say? You marry for money and you pay the rest of your life. Oh, okay. They're going to Brooklyn to see Sonia's friend Hunt Sloan, who is an artist. Cool stuff. Bravo's showing us a couple of his paintings. I love the bird one. Oh, next we are seeing Luann and Tinsley coming out of an Al-Anon meeting. You guys, I am so proud of Luann, and I'm so happy that she followed through on her offer to go with her. Because I kind of feel like Tinsley wouldn't have done it on her own. This could help her. I think it was a sweet gesture, and I feel like weirdly proud of Luann. Oh, spoke too soon. Luann, good God, lady, you do not disappoint. Let me tell you that. You are good TV. Right after they leave the meeting, they go to a coffee shop, and Tinsley is now kind of pouring her heart out a little bit. She's expressing her feelings about going to a meeting for the first time and how she feels awkward. It doesn't feel right to her to express her anger toward her dad, even though that's what she's feeling right now. And, you know, that would be a safe place for her to do it, but I understand what she's saying. But Luann is, while Tinsley is speaking, Luann is adding sugar, and then she's trying to add, I don't know, what's in the tin, like cinnamon or something maybe, to her coffee. And she's shaking the little tin shaker into her coffee cup, but nothing's coming out. And she's like, oh my God. Tinsley's kind of pouring her heart out about her dad right now. And Luann's like, oh, look at me shaking my little tin. Yeah. I mean, bless her for being able to hold in her narcissism for the length of the meeting, at least. I mean, I'm assuming there were no cameras in there, so who knows? I could be wrong about that. Okay, yeah, just as I suspected, Tinsley's probably never going to go back. And she should, I think it could really help her. She keeps saying she's uncomfortable sharing her feelings with everybody, but isn't it? I've never been to AA or Al-Anon. Oh, maybe I was at Al-Anon. I might have been at an Al-Anon meeting with somebody. In any case, I'm pretty sure you don't have to share until you're ready, right? So that's a flimsy excuse. If she's going to say, I don't want to go back because I'm not comfortable sharing, just go back and listen. You just sit and you listen until you feel ready. And maybe you won't ever. Maybe I don't think you have to, right? Do you? If you guys know, let me know in the comments. But I'm pretty sure she's just using this as an excuse not to go back. Now Luann has changed the subject to Scott. You got so crazy last night with Bethany. Since Sonia and Bethany are already talking about Tinsley and Scott, and now this is gonna be like a Scott heavy episode, I think. Oh, okay. So Tinsley said, yeah, it's just, the relationship is difficult because he's in Chicago and I'm here. And aside from that being difficult, he's uncomfortable with me being who I am. Okay, that's a tough hurdle, sweetie. I'm just going to say, if a man is uncomfortable with you being yourself, I'm not sure how you get past that one. She said, like me being the host of the Big Apple Circus. Way to get in another plug for the Big Apple Circus. And Luann goes, is he coming? And she goes, no, because, yeah, we're broken up. We're like officially really broken up. Although whenever this was filmed, in real life, they are broken up, but they were engaged, right? Do I have that right? I think they got engaged and then broke up. So currently today, as we sit here, the end of April 2019, they are broken up. But after that filming, I think since then they had gotten engaged. So this breakup happened right after Bethany's party the night before. She called him and said, I need more. I need you to come here right now. And he said no. So that's all she wrote. She probably felt a little pressured into giving him a little bit of an ultimatum because of these ladies I feel like they were really pressuring her. But personally, I think it was the right thing to do. Even if I didn't know what I know now, it was just so one-sided, I thought. Last week, I thought Bethany and Teddy, I wondered if they would get along. Now I'm wondering if Tinsley and Sheena Shea would get along. Can you see the two of them sitting around talking about how they're trying to get Scott and Adam to pay attention to them and to like them more? Okay, so Luann is redeeming herself again in my eyes. Because Tinsley said, listen, I feel a sense of relief, but it's not like, I'm so glad I made this decision. And Luann goes, no, of course not. It still hurts. But you know what? I'm proud of you for going to your first Al-Anon meeting and talking about your dad. I know that was difficult. So they hugged and it was pretty nice. Okay, now we go back to Brooklyn with Bethany and Sonia. And her friend's name is Hunt Sloanum. I thought she said Sloan. And we're going to meet him and we are at his studio. Oh, guys, I'm like digging this stuff. He's got a whole bunny wall. Bethany asked him, what's the significance of the rabbit? And he said, that's new for me. I'm usually a bird guy, but I got into the rabbits because I'm in the Chinese zodiac. He's the sign of the rabbit. His rabbit print is on this like ornate little couch. It's so cool. Now we're with Tinsley and Dorinda, and we are at the Big Apple Circus. Tinsley needs to get all ready for her hosting duties. Okay, Dorinda is very jealous of Tinsley because she thinks that she should be doing it. And then in her confessional, she said, I really should have been a trapeze artist. I really should have, because I have many talents, but that could have definitely been one of my talents. Because I can fly through the air with the greatest of ease. Okay. Oh, I guess we are in for a treat because we are about to see it. Except, oh my God, she can barely get up the ladder. I couldn't either. I'm just saying. But she would take 2 steps. Whoa! And then 2 more steps. Whoa! That alone, I applaud her for, and that was enough entertainment for me. I don't need to see her fly through the air with the greatest of ease. Okay, and then it was Tinsley's turn to do it. And I mean, all they're doing is just hanging and swinging back and forth. Tinsley managed to kick her legs a little bit, but yeah. I don't know why I expected more than that. So then the woman who's running the circus said to Tinsley, okay, so now that we know that you're not afraid of heights, you're going to be opening the show by coming down from a lyra hoop. And she's like, no, you're kidding. No. But yeah, that's how she's going to do it. So I can't wait. Next, we are on the Upper East Side with Ramona, Sonia, and Luann. Ramona said, I'm so happy I got you guys up here on the Upper East Side. And Luann's like, yeah, I know. I never get up here anymore. They go to this place called T-Bar, I think she said. And according to Ramona, it's just like Cheers. Everybody knows you there. Okay, I thought everybody went to the Regency. I never heard about T-Bar before. Have you? All right, well, let's get back to it and see what happens. Okay, so Michael walks up to the ladies, and apparently they all know him very well. I've never met him before. He is handsome. He's very flirty. Luann, in her confessional, said that Michael is just like an Upper East Side fixture. But it's Sonia's confessional where we hear that she thinks that he and Luann have slept together. She's not sure. Maybe just a little hand job in the corner. She doesn't know. But she's pretty sure something happened. Oh boy, Silver Fox number 2 walks in. It's Mario. I wonder if Ramona picked that place because he was going to be there. Do you think? Okay, so this was not a chance meeting because Mario came bearing gifts, and he found some turtle charm bracelets, I guess, at the office, and some True Faith bedazzled t-shirts. Do you remember their True Faith business? It was like crosses, and I feel like it was jewelry with like a Christian theme, if I'm remembering correctly. Anyway, yeah, so he's got t-shirts and all that, so this was a setup. Although Sonia seemed surprised to see him and very, very happy to see him because she was all over him. Of course, so was Ramona. Ramona was a little handsy, I thought. Smell him. He smells so good, and she's like nuzzling his neck, and I don't know. I mean, he's a good-looking man as well, but you're divorced for a reason. Let's not forget that. Well, in the end of that scene, Mario and Ramona are talking. She said that something about Avery's friends are talking about getting married already. Now, I waited until I was older, and I think then you have a very good marriage. And I think ours was very good while it lasted. Well, it lasted. And then Mario said that he thinks marriage should be a renewable contract. And she goes, what do you mean? And he said, I think maybe like, say, every 7 years you should revisit it and see if you want to renew it for another 7 years, that kind of thing. And she's like, I think communication is important. She was not liking that idea. But in the end, she said, let's face it, Mario's very easy on the eyes. But do I want to get back with him again? I don't think so. Okay, next we are at this beautiful day spa. I guess Dorinda had arranged for it for all the ladies. And she said, I don't know, who wouldn't want to come to this and have a beautiful spa day? She's there first, and she's talking to the owner about we'll do manicures and pedicures over here and facials here. And they're getting things arranged. And then she said something like, this is the food for Ramona? Did she say food? Maybe. Knowing Ramona, she probably has special requests for that too. Dorinda said, oh, well, yeah, I'm kind of mad at Ramona right now. And then we get a little flashback. 3 days ago, they were at the Angel Ball. I'm assuming some charitable event. They were supposed to be sitting together at like table 62, and so she ran into this friend from Mykonos, and she's like, oh, this is my friend from Mykonos. And she said, can I sit next to you? And the woman said, yeah, sure. Oh, good. And totally ditched Dorinda. I mean, it's such a Ramona thing to do that I don't know why Dorinda was surprised, right? But yeah, she's got a little bone to pick with her. Side note, I'm pretty sure that's Jill Zarin in that picture too. Ramona didn't seem to acknowledge her whatsoever. Okay, Ramona and Sonia arrive first. Dorinda said, you don't look jacuzzi ready. And she said, I can't stay. I'm having lunch with an old friend from Paris and my daughter. So yeah, I'll take my coat off and I'll visit for a little while. And then she says, I am going to talk to Barbara though, because she's been making a lot of faux pas lately. Really? I can't wait for this conversation because I don't know what she means by that. But of course, Ramona's agreeing because I don't think Ramona likes Barbara very much. But I thought Sonia did. Then we turn around and Tinsley and Barbara are walking through the door. Side note, you'll notice that I'm not even commenting on the fact that Barbara was invited to another event because I'm just used to it by now. Of course she's invited. She's apparently a new housewife. Oh my God, this little feud between Dorinda and Ramona was in page 6. The whole Angel Ball thing. And Dorinda did say she was going to confront Ramona about it. So she starts by saying, you didn't tell the truth in page 6. And Ramona goes, yes, I did. Her not sitting with her at the Angel Ball became an item in page 6. But it's funny because they show us now on the screen what it said. Ramona was claiming that, oh, I thought Dorinda was sitting with me, but we didn't buy a whole table. We only bought individual tickets, and so they didn't put us together. Oh, okay. I mean, the tiny bit of footage that we saw that Bravo had taken definitely told a different story, Ramona. Oh boy, they're really going at it now. They haven't even greeted Tinsley and Barbara. Ramona says, I told the truth. That wasn't a lie. And Dorinda said, yes, it was. I've got the guest list. All Dorinda wants is an apology, but that's not such a little thing with these ladies. You know, it's going to be a big blown out whatever. And there's so much like fighting right now. That poor spa has probably never seen so much hostility like within its calming walls. Oh, ruh-roh. You are caught in a lie, Ramona. Yeah, Ramona is vehemently denying that she did anything wrong. I was at table 61. I have the ticket. And Dorinda's like, no, you weren't. No, you weren't. You took somebody else's seat. And Dorinda told her those people came later and they had to be moved because you were in their seat. And she swears she has the ticket that says 61. And then Bravo so kindly shows us the footage of Ramona speaking to one of the organizers, asking where she's seated, saying, I'm seated with Dorinda, right? And they said, yes, you're at the same table. It's table 62. And Ramona says, oh, all right, 62. Okay, do you know where 62 is? Oops. And you know what? It means nothing because it's going to get brought up at the reunion and Ramona's just going to say, well, I'm sorry. I thought it was 61. 61, 62. I was close. Right? You heard it here first, people. Okay, now Ramona pushes Dorinda and she kind of like goes back a little bit and she goes, don't push me. And Ramona said, well, because you weren't listening to me. And she's like, don't push me. And even Sonia was like, we get a quick glimpse of the fearful face of the spa owner. And we cut to a commercial. Quick side note, I love Tinsley's sweater and I want it. I wonder if it's Alice and Olivia. Probably. Okay. So in Ramona's confessional, she has figured it out. She has Sherlock Holmes this thing. I don't know why Dorinda is blaming me for this unless the people that do the seating lied to her. That must be it. They lied to her because they saw her standing around and they felt sorry for her. Voila, they lied to Dorinda and put the blame on me to get the cream off of their faces. The egg off of their faces. Oh, God. Oh, cannot make this stuff up, people. Okay, Barbara can't stay either. Dorinda said, I noticed you didn't book anything. And she said, well, I have to be on the job site at 1:30. Why'd you come? Pretty sure you weren't contractually obligated to come, Barbara K. Okay, so finally Sonia is talking to Barbara and we're going to find out what her faux pas was. I guess it was from footage that we didn't see at Bethany's party. Somebody asked Barbara if she liked Ramona. You know, Ramona had to leave early for a date, so she wasn't even there. And I won't repeat it because I would probably blow out the microphone, but she answered in a very high-pitched squeal that went on for a real long time and said, nah. I'm being very, very quiet. Not exactly. And everybody laughed. And then Dorinda said, well, the good news is the feeling is mutual. So now here today at the spa, Sonia is telling Barbara that got back to Ramona. And Barbara goes, oh, it did? In the confessional, Sonia said, the best approach is to tell Barbara right away when she's done something wrong to Ramona, because Ramona will kill you in your sleep. Now Dorinda is telling Tinsley, I don't really want Ramona to be all upset today. I just wanted her to apologize. And Tinsley said, oh, you talked to her about it today? And she goes, well, it was in page 6. And Tinsley said, oh, I don't ever look at page 6. Unless somebody tells me I'm in it, I don't pay attention to it. In her confessional, she goes, listen, I don't know why all these girls care about page 6. When you're on the cover of the New York Post, that's when you need to worry about it. And then we see her cover. It was 3 years ago when she got arrested. Tragic fall of an it girl. And then a picture of her mugshot, which is also something I would strive to look like. Just saying. Okay, so one of the assignments that Sonia has given Barbara was to apologize to Dorinda as well. And so she sits her down, and Dorinda barely kind of lets her get a word in edgewise, but they do end up making up. And Barbara said, you know, I want to go back to the way things were. We were close. And Dorinda said, yeah, let's have a reset. I want a reset. And she said, yeah, let's do that. And we can come to each other and we can be close again. And they hug, and I guess all is well. Great. No, I mean, I don't want anybody fighting. I just don't want Barbara in every single scene. Damn, the upstairs of this spa is gorgeous. It's got these amazing views of the city. There's a fireplace, and there's like two massage tables set up there, and a huge terrace. It's really pretty. And Dorinda keeps telling everybody, I'm moving here next week because her apartment is selling. She sold her apartment, I guess, and she's moving. But in the interim, she's going to stay there for like a week. Meanwhile, downstairs, Tinsley is telling Sonia that she broke up with Scott. Just as she does that, Bethany now comes into the room, and she's like, what's going on? What's happening? What's going on? What's happening? Tinsley goes, oh, I broke up with Scott. And she's like, oh, and hugs her. In the confessional, Bethany's like, oh, there's never any foreplay with these girls. It's just jam it in, no lube, here we go. Okay, you did ask her, though. I don't think that would have been the first thing out of her mouth. I mean, you did, like, immediately ask her what's going on. So you kind of asked for it to be jammed in. Just saying. But everybody is telling her she's better off and this is a good thing. I don't know. I mean, at some point she gets back together with him. I don't know if it's during the season, but I know in real life at some point I think they were engaged. Am I making this up? Is this like it was a dream of mine or something? If you guys know, would you leave it in the comments? For some reason, I think that at some point they were engaged. After what we're seeing here on the show, they were engaged. So now all the ladies are around the table getting some food. Everybody who hadn't heard before now knows that Tinsley and Scott broke up. Then someone said, what was singles night? And Luann said, it was me, Sonia, and Ramona. And guess who we ran into? And Bethany goes, oh, Tom. Which that would have been good. And she goes, no, Mario. Bethany is teasing Ramona. I guess they went home together. Bethany is teasing her about, sleeping with him. And she said, no, we didn't. I didn't sleep with him. And he just wanted to walk Coco. Oh, is that what you crazy kids are calling it today? Everyone's like, no, you didn't even kiss. And no, sorry, girls. Barbara is approaching Ramona now. And she said, how are you, Ramona? And Ramona said, I don't know. How do you think I should be? And Barbara's like, are you okay? Ramona kind of shrugged and she said, do you want to think about it? Okay. Barbara, just apologize if that's why you're there. Sonia and Tinsley skedaddle out of there and just to leave them alone to talk. It's, oh my God. Barbara, well, if you want to think about it. And Ramona goes, I'll think about it. And she goes, well, I'll be here till 1:30. If you want to talk, I would love to talk. And then I have to go on a job site and maybe yell at some people. And she stands there and Ramona goes, boy, you really love those wrap dresses, don't you? Not going well, people. Listen, you guys know how I feel about Barbara, so you know this is not easy for me. But I've got to give it to her. I love the way she's handling this. She said, I do. Yeah. And Ramona said, well, you might want to change it up a little. Okay, Ramona's being so incredibly rude. And Barbara said, I mean, actually, this is the first time I've ever worn this dress. Side note, I know she says she's never worn that dress before, but I feel like she has. Either that or she's got a bunch of dresses that just look very similar to this sort of snake print or whatever it is. I don't know. It looks familiar to me, but she said she's never worn it before. But maybe you want to take me shopping sometime. Maybe that's something we could do together and you could show me what you like. I thought that was great. Anyway, Ramona goes on to say, you're kind of getting known for wearing wrap dresses. Okay, well, you know what? Maybe that's her signature thing. Okay, we get a little montage of Barbara in all her past wrap dresses. I think we're seeing the same dress when she was at Dorinda's house. Tell me that's not the same dress she's wearing right now. If it is not, it is so similar. Listen, I don't care if you wear a dress more than once, of course, but then don't say it's the first time you're ever wearing it, especially if you're wearing it on camera and there's photographic proof. Anyway, Ramona said, well, why would you even want to go out shopping with me? You said you don't like me. Barbara said, yeah, you know what? I did say something. And I want to apologize for that. I shouldn't have. Well, why would you say it? And she said, sometimes you get caught up in things and you say things you don't mean. And I'm sorry I said that. Ramona said, all right, I accept your apology. And she said, okay, and we can start fresh. So another fresh start for Barbara. And they don't hug, but they shake hands. Which actually seems appropriate. Okay. I cut it off too soon. Barbara actually did then say, how about a hug? And Ramona goes, well, let's not get carried away. Oh, baby steps, Barbara. In the confessional, Barbara said, I'm on the apology tour. Yeah, okay, just aren't you due over at the job site? In Ramona's confessional, she said, I was ready to give it to her big and hard, but I just couldn't do it. Who would have thought a wrap dress would have disarmed this conversation? Okay, do you think Ramona knows what she's saying? I would have given it to her big and hard. I'm starting to wonder if it isn't just a funny Ramona-ism and now Ramona's trying out some comedy material on us. You know what I mean? I don't know. All right. And on that note, we end episode 8. Thank you so much for joining me. It means a lot to me. You guys mean a lot to me. Please subscribe, give this video a like if you did, and don't forget to leave a comment. I love to hear from you guys. And even when I don't get a chance to reply to them all, I read all of your comments and I appreciate them very much. I'm going to be right back here next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central Time for the next recap of The Real Housewives of New York City. And I hope you join me. Bye-bye.